send me the link for the notes? Because I realize I don't have that information anymore.
Yes, you're broadcasting that, by the way.
Sweet.
So let me go through my spiel.
Hey guys.
Sup, y'all? Welcome to Original Gamers Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Ryan, otherwise known as Huge Cow Patty or HCP for short. And I am joined tonight by Nolan Brown.
Hey everybody.
And Joel. We don't know where he is. Normally we're looking for Nolan. Tonight, we're looking for Joel.
It's an interesting
If
there.
you've seen Joel, you know where he is. Just, make sure he's okay.
There it is.
And it's all good. So, all right, tonight on Original Gamers Podcast, this 56th episode of the show, we are going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. My wife just poked her head in the door, and this was like 56. Yeah, it is. It is awesome. It's a lot of episodes. Been doing this a long time. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Some of you out there might be thinking to yourself, hold on a minute. Those aren't the same game. Those are two different games. Are you cheating? Yes, I am. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But before we do, as always, I like to check in with my crew, see how they're doing, because, make sure that they know that I love them.
Or friends.
So I like to
care about each other.
Yeah, that we do care about each other, because goodness knows, no one else cares about us.
I mean, hey.
All right, so how you been, Nolan? What's going on?
I'm good. It's been a interesting week, but it's nothing too terrible. Been doing work here at the house and finished painting finally. And then Tuesday night, I was playing D&D with my friends, as is quite often. And I get home, and my laptop won't turn on. I'm like, well, that's weird. Okay, what's going on with that? And then it's still not turning on. Now it's just giving me password, like reset your password. I'm like, that's not good. Okay, I'll make an appointment, go to the Apple store, go see if they can figure out what's going on. So finally I get Thursday night, head over there, and they're looking at it. It's like, this is going on. I'm like, okay. Mind if we take it back? Go for it. I spent half an hour just kind of twiddling my thumbs, feeling shameful because I'm on my Android phone at the Apple store. I don't know why I feel shameful when that happens. It's just, whatever. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, we can't get the to go into a separate monitor, so we can't see what's going on. So it's obviously the display and the backlight is not working.
Okay.
And it's basically all this, and basically, I mean, it's old for a computer. It's 5 years old. That's decently old for a computer.
Oh yeah.
It was still working for the most part fine. I wasn't complaining. Well, this is what it's going to cost. It's going to cost $650 to repair this. I'm like, you want to do that now, or you want to hold off? I'm like, I think I'll wait a little bit. And so I figured this out. I'm like, I could get a new laptop that's new. New laptop that's new. Fancy that.
Yeah.
For basically the same price. So that's where it's. So then I was looking at stuff, and Saturday went over to Best Buy, and apparently they're having a graduation sale. So I got a brand new, looking at a Samsung. Then they ran out because, $300 off is a pretty good deal for something.
Yeah.
And then I found a Dell that also is a 2-in-1. So I got a $1,000 laptop for about $650.
Nice.
Yeah.
For the cost of a new backlight on your Macintosh.
Exactly. So now I have this, and I can play games on Steam that I could never before because I have Windows and other things. So, yeah. And now I put in tablet mode because I feel like being cool like that.
That's cool. I have to ask you, is your fan running really fast right now?
Not really fast. Like, can you hear it pretty good?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah,
I was
that's just kind
wondering.
of. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and actually, I noticed when I got done editing the first episode of Patty Plays Pathetically, because I just put a new heatsink and fan, CPU heatsink and fan at my computer, and I guess I don't have it mounted quite right because it's making the noise, and I thought it's not that loud. But then I went back and I watched my cut down version of the show, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can hear that. And in fact, I haven't done anything about it yet, so there's a really good chance that it's not super loud, but it's there.
It's there, and
it's there, and it drives me crazy. So that is a great segue into the fact that we here at CrossForge Gaming have a Patreon campaign. Yes, I'm going to talk about my week in a minute, but I want to talk about the Patreon campaign. So if you go to patreon.com/CrossForgeGaming, real easy. We have 2 tiers on there. There's $2. You don't get anything other than warm, fuzzy feelings for that one. But we understand, sometimes you don't want to give anything more than that, and you just want to be nice. So we made that tier. There's a $5 tier, which will get you access to some exclusive content. Right now, that exclusive content is limited to the unedited versions of Patty Plays Pathetically. So, so the live stream will always just be open to everyone. But then as soon as the live stream is done, that will go away from YouTube for the general public, and you'll have to be a $5 Patreon subscriber to get that. There will be other exclusive content coming to those members soon. Right now, it's just Patty Plays Pathetically. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is if you would like us to have equipment that doesn't make irritating noises while we're streaming, that'd be a great way to help us out with that. So, yeah, that's what that's there for. Also, we have a T-shirt store, and
is that up?
Yeah, that's up. I will make sure that links to all of these things are in the description below. So don't you worry your little head about that, because it's going to be there. It's going to be really easy for you to find. So, yep, those are 2 really good ways that you can help support us financially. And of course, you can always share the main Facebook page, the community page, and especially the YouTube page. I really, 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 really want the YouTube channel to get to 100 subscribers as soon as possible, because right now our YouTube channel is youtube.com/gibberish. Yeah. And when we get to 100 subscribers, I can go in and make it something really nice and easy to remember, like youtube.com/CrossForgeGaming. So please share this with all your friends. Yeah. All right. So my week has been. I really wanted to stream this game. I have it on PC, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I've streamed it before. I actually know the game well enough that I can go through it in one sitting. So I could have fairly easily streamed it and it gone through both games in about 2 hours. But alas, I didn't have time because it was. Every time you move your laptop, it makes an awful noise, by the way. What?
Sorry about that.
Okay. You must have muted yourself. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah. Been playing Breath of the Wild, of course, because that's what I do. Oh, I also set up Mario Kart tournament for CrossForge Gaming. That information is in the community, the little code. But as far as I know, if 8 Deluxe. Sorry. If you have the Wii U version, it's just 8. There's no tournament there.
That's what you got to do to keep me from beating you. Then go ahead.
Oh, whatever.
And make the game that.
Whatever. No, it's just
you all.
It's just that the Switch is the new awesome thing, and the Wii U that's yesterday's thing. The Switch is everything the Wii U should have been and wasn't. Unfortunately.
That's actually true.
Yeah. So yeah, been doing that, been working a lot, been doing a lot of CrossForge Gaming stuff. I'm really excited about the stuff that we've got going on. for here. So it's gonna be fun. All right. But yeah, that's me. Oh, Mother's Day. Did Mother's Day stuff.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
That was good. Oh, saw
Happy
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mother's Day to all you mothers out there that may or may not be watching.
Happy belated Mother's Day to all you mothers and all you future mothers. Just for the record. All right. Saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was really good.
Ooh. See, I want to. I was hoping tomorrow, but
yeah. It's really, really, really good. I think overall I like the first one better, but that's not like a slight on the second one. The second one is great. It's just the first one. The first one, I feel like it. Go ahead.
The second movie is never as good as the first or the third. Not to say anything against the second movie of anything.
Yeah,
but I'd say the second is usually the worst of the trio.
Although there's a lot of people out there that would tell you that The Empire Strikes Back is the better of the original 3 Star Wars. I disagree with those people, but
that's true. That's one of the only times that I might possibly agree that the second might be better than the first. But
right.
That's very particular.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man exist in this world where when those movies got announced, it was like, what the heck is this? These movies are going to be garbage. And then they weren't.
Yeah, and then they were like super good. It's like,
yeah.
It's funny because I'd never heard of Ant-Man or Guardians of the Galaxy before they came out. So I'm like, okay, this looks interesting. Actually, Guardians of the Galaxy that came out, and I saw the ads for it. I'm like, this looks amazing. Why have I never heard of this before?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I am Groot. It was great. Oh, and then what's the big dude played by Batista? When they say something about something went over his head, nothing gets over my head.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. So, and all that's still intact. And of course, Chris Pratt is just fantastic.
Vin Diesel is Groot.
Yeah, it's
Bradley Cooper is Rocket. So it's just like
it's so good. It's just so good. All right, enough about that. Let's talk some Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, I see. I wish Joel was here. Joel loves Sonic. I mean, I don't think
favorite game series besides Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, obviously. All right. Yeah. So we're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Of course, we're going to get into a little bit of history about the game. But first, let's read this really long credits list that I have here. The developer, Sonic Team.
I'm shocked.
The publisher, Sega, obviously. The director is Hirokazu Yasu. I think that's supposed to be an H. Yasuhara. Put a J there. Which would be wrong. So Yasuhara.
I forgot about the composer.
Yeah.
That's right.
The composer is going to be interesting. We're going to get there. The composer is going to be interesting. So designers, again, Hirokazu Yasuhara. The guy had just got done saying his name. This guy's got Yoshi in his name twice.
Yes, he does. Back to back.
Yeah, I know. It's Hasayoshi Yoshida, and then Takashi Iizuka. It's 2 eyes, right? Maybe it's Iizuka. Iizuka, probably. All right, I'm gonna let you read the producers.
So first up, we have Yuji Naka, and then Hiroshi Nikaido, and Masanobu Yamamoto.
Yay! All right, composers. I'm gonna read this long list of names, and then there's one that I'm gonna read last. Very interesting. All right, so we've got Brad. Yeah, a little trivia here. We got Brad. I'm gonna guess that's Buxer. Sure.
Buxer?
Yeah, Buxer or Buxer, something like that. Sir Coco.
Sir, I now announce you Sir Coco.
Sir Coco. It's not spelled like that. That's just what it sounds like.
Not even kind of.
No, Sir Coco Jones, Bobby Brooks, Daryl Ross, Jeff spelled Geoff, Way to go, Jeff. Grace, I guess you didn't pick the way you spelled your name. Your parents did. But you're an adult now. You can spell it right. Jeff.
Well, did their parents even pick the way?
I mean, I would guess so. I mean, isn't that one of the rules of being a parent? You get to pick how your kid's name is spelled, even if it's nonsense.
That's true.
Like, you could spell it Raymon and call him Bobby because you're their parent and you're awful.
Because you're just asking to give your kids just all kinds of. Then speaking of Bobby.
Yeah. Doug Grigsby. And now we get the names that are hard to say because they're not English. Not that I think Sir Coco is necessarily English, but Sachio Agawa, Tatsuyuki Maeda, I don't know, and Jun Senyo. That's what I'm gonna say. That almost sounds Korean. All right, now for the special guest. This guy's not credited in this. In fact, it's kind of like a confirmed rumor because he never admitted that he was involved in it. No one really says specifically and officially that he's involved in it, but there was some stuff going on around the time that suggests very heavily that he was very strongly involved in the making of this game's soundtrack. Nolan, who is that person?
That would be the artist formerly known as... Oh, wait, no. Wrong one. Sorry.
Still known as...
Wrong person. That would be Mr. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson,
yeah. For you youngins out there who are too young to know Michael Jackson is, yeah, he did such great hits as Beat It and Smooth Criminal. He was the lead singer for the Jackson 5 way back when, so if you've ever heard ABC, he's that little kid on that. Yeah. And if you're... Yeah, I'm like, why am I having trouble thinking of this? Maybe it's because I'm more familiar with every time Weird Al spoofed one. So you've got
Thriller.
Thriller. I'm Bad. I guess it's just called Bad. It's not I'm Bad. Yeah. He's too cool to put I'm in any of his songs. Anyway, so yeah, and interesting dude. But yeah, he heavily rumored that he composed this music for this, and yeah. So anyway, platforms that this is on. So Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was released for the Sega Genesis in North America on February 2nd, 1994. PAL regions on February 24th, 1994, and in Japan on May 27th, 1994. Sonic and Knuckles was released, it says worldwide, but it really wasn't worldwide. Worldwide, October 18th, 1994, and Australia, November 19th, 1994. Now, that worldwide there is important. Oh, first of all, I'll add that, like Sonic 1 and 2, this game is on a lot of stuff. It's not on nearly as many things as Sonic 1 and 2, but you can find this on the Sonic Mega Collection, which was on at least GameCube and PS2. I'm pretty sure it was on the original Xbox as well. You can download it for Xbox Live Arcade, PSN. It's on Steam. It's on a bunch of different Sega collections. It's probably on Android and iOS. I'm not 100% positive about that.
It's on Amazon Fire.
Yeah, okay. So if it's on Amazon Fire, then it's probably in the Google Play Store for Android. So it's everywhere. Like most Sega games that have any sort of popularity whatsoever.
Knuckles was, but 3 was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So, yeah, you're probably thinking to yourself, Patty, games aren't the same.
Why are we doing another Sonic game?
They're two different. Well, yeah, you might be thinking, why are you doing another Sonic game? And
that's not what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, but you know, you're thinking to yourself, these aren't the same game. They're two different games. Why are you doing it at the same time?
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was going to be a real big deal because it was coming off real quick off the heels of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I'm actually going to go get the release date for that because I'm pretty darn sure that Sonic 2 did not come out very much earlier than Sonic 3. Let's see. Wikipedia. This came out November 21st, 1992. Okay, so there was a little over a year between the two release dates. But still, back then, you know, and a franchise being annualized, as it were, even though, I mean, the game wasn't annualized. It's not like Madden where they just came out like clockwork. But there only being a year in between releases for a game like this, pretty rare. I mean, when you consider that, you know, the NES was around and on store shelves for what, 6-7 years. There's only 3 Mario games.
I know.
And I'm what now?
3 Mario games. I mean, technically, I believe Mario is missing. Was on the NES.
No, well, I played it on Super Nintendo. Maybe there was a version on NES, but I don't know. And then the Super Nintendo has Super Mario World and then Yoshi's Island, which, I mean, they're both platformers and they're both in the same series, but you could argue Yoshi's Island's not really a Mario game. The N64's only got 1 Mario game. The GameCube's only got, you know, so it's just the turnaround like that is unusual. So anyway, since Sonic 2 did so well, they were like, man, we got to come out hard with Sonic the Hedgehog 3. We're going to make it the biggest platformer that's ever been. And keeping in mind, Super Mario World is not a tiny platformer.
No.
It's very, very big. So they wanted this to be big. They wanted to be the best Sonic game ever. So that's why, supposedly, they went and got Michael Jackson because they wanted the music to be as awesome as it could be. And they were going to do something that no publisher had really attempted, and that was releasing the game worldwide on the same day. So they had a date picked out. They had a promotional thing with McDonald's. I imagine what that means is that they had Happy Meal toys and stuff like that. And they had all this already set out. So the dates were set in stone, even though the game wasn't finished yet. So they're like, okay, it's time for the release this thing. And the Sonic team's like, hey, it's not done. So what they did was they did what Activision does with Call of Duty every single year. They released it before it was finished, but like in some sort of quasi-complete state as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with just a couple of features removed. And of course, back then, your Sega Genesis wasn't hooking up to the internet and downloading an update. So what do? Well, they had to come up with a way to add in the stuff, the levels, the features, and all that stuff that they wanted for the whole game later. And that's why Sonic and Knuckles came out not even a year later. So February 2nd to October 18th. What is that, like 8 months? Yeah, that's about right. 8 months between the two. And Sonic and Knuckles it looks like a Genesis cart, but the top of it opens up and you can put another Genesis cart inside of it. And what you're, of course, supposed to do is put Sonic 3 in it. We lost your camera there, Nolan.
Yeah.
Oh, there. You're back. Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Sorry.
Good. So you put the Sonic 3 cartridge in there, and now you have Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. So everything is there as they originally intended it to be. So differences between the two games if you play them separately. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has save files, which no Sonic game before had ever had. And the purpose of this wasn't just because the game was longer than most other Sonic games, but also when you got to the end and you beat it and you saw the credits and all that stuff, you could go select any level that you wanted to and play it again with everything that you already had. So the purpose of this was if you didn't have all 7 Chaos Emeralds, which you need to transform into Super Sonic, you could go back and get the Chaos Emeralds that you missed and then get Super Sonic.
In this one, wasn't there, it was Super Sonic, and wasn't there another one? Ultra.
When you connect it to Sonic and Knuckles, that's where you get that thing that you're talking about.
Okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3, you can play as Sonic, you can play as Tails, you can play as Sonic and Tails, just like in the Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Of course, in this game, Tails actually has a use because you as the player can fly. In Sonic 2, even when you just played as Tails by yourself, you couldn't fly. He only flew if he was being controlled by the computer and only to be caught up to Sonic. And also, if you're playing two-player, Tails can carry Sonic. You can only carry him for a limited amount of time because unlike, say, Kirby, Tails doesn't have unlimited flight. So you could carry Sonic, and that gave you access to anyone familiar with a 2D Sonic game. You know that there's like a lower level, a mid level, and an upper level to every stage. And some of the upper levels in Sonic 3 are just not accessible without Tails. So you need Tails to get to those. What you can see in Sonic 3 when you're playing a Sonic and Tails is areas of the game that you just can't get to because most of the time they're behind rocks that Sonic and Tails cannot destroy. We'll get to why that is here in a second. So those are the real big differences between that's Sonic 3 as just Sonic 3. So Sonic and Knuckles comes out. Sonic and Knuckles has no save feature built into it. You cannot play as Tails, but you can play as Knuckles, who is you're kind of led to believe is the main protagonist of not the main protagonist. He's the protagonist you interact with mostly in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Robotnik's still in it. There's a story. Yeah, there's a story where and actually what's neat is if you play Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic and Knuckles all right back to back, they flow right into each other. You remember at the end of Sonic 2, you blow up the Death Egg and you're falling down from space, and if you had all 7 Chaos Emeralds, Sonic is Supersonic. If not, the only real difference in the endings is Sonic is or is not Supersonic. Then the beginning of Sonic 3, of course, in the beginning of Sonic 3, it doesn't have any idea what you did in Sonic 2, so Sonic is just Supersonic. Knuckles punches him from up under the ground, takes the 7 Chaos Emeralds, and now Sonic isn't Supersonic anymore. All right. Okay, so...
Sorry to cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
Isn't Knuckles, supposed to be guarding the Chaos Emeralds or something?
Yes, so the island, which is referred to as Knuckles Island, and as far as I can tell, other than all the crazy robots that Robotnik brought with him, Knuckles is the only living thing on this. Other than in vegetation. He's the only, sentient being on Knuckles Island, which must make for a very lonely time, which explains why he's so easily deceived by a giant fat man in a robot suit. Because he's just looking for a friend. He didn't have anyone to talk to. All right. So he's guarding it, and he's guarding the Chaos Emeralds, and the Mega Emerald is what keeps the island afloat in the air. But by the time you get there, the island has already fallen from the sky and is floating in the ocean. And Robotnik has convinced Knuckles that Sonic took the Mega Emerald, which is kind of a weird thing to be able to convince him of, because Robotnik basically convinced Knuckles that someone who's not on the island yet stole something that was on the island, even though Robotnik's the one who took it.
That's cool.
So Knuckles is kind of an idiot.
He's always been an idiot. It's just It lasted. It wasn't until Sonic Boom that he became uber idiot.
Oh yeah. Game was awful. Awful looking. I actually wouldn't know. I haven't played it. But yeah, he's just, those characters are the worst. Okay, so anyway. Sonic and Knuckles, no save file. You play as Knuckles instead of Tails, and Knuckles has this feature where he can climb up most vertical surfaces, so by sticking to it, and he can glide. I think Yeah, and I think the lore is like somehow he uses his dreadlocks to do that. I don't know how that works.
What?
I think so. Let me look this up and be absolutely sure. So,
Like some kind of weird slipstream effect?
yeah, how
Or
does Knuckles glide?
this magic?
Okay, Knuckles can glide in the air. This is from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Or no, this is from WikiFur, the furry encyclopedia. I
Oh.
don't know what that is,
Oh.
but we're gonna take
Oh.
it. Knuckles can glide in the air by apparently trapping the air under his dreadlocks, and so far he is the only one who knows how to access and utilize the powers of the Master Emerald, other than to call the Echidna. I don't know who that is. He can also sense the Chaos Emeralds from a distance. So there you go.
Okay.
I don't. Furry Wikipedia. I'm afraid to find out what else is there.
Like, yeah, maybe.
But if one of you listening wants to be brave and find out for us and let us know, go right ahead. I'll give you some props on the air one day. Gosh. Okay, so anyway, so he glides. He also can destroy pieces of the environment. They're usually pretty obvious. What's that?
The aforementioned rocks.
Yes, the rocks that you could see in Sonic 3. So you take the two games. You take Sonic 3, you take Sonic and Knuckles, and you put them on each other, and then you stick that inside the Sega Genesis. And then what you see is essentially the Sonic 3 opening. But underneath Sonic the Hedgehog 3, it says "and Knuckles," so you get like this really long name. And that is supposedly what the game was supposed to be like had it not been rushed out to be launched with this McDonald's promo and all these other things that they had going on. Now, I'm going to assume that Sonic and Knuckles, it's seeing as they had more time to work on it, I would imagine that it wound up being bigger than maybe what it was originally planned to be, because that's just normally how games happen. So, but as far as I know, this is the first console expansion pack to ever be, like, as far as I know, I can't think of another game that would have had anything like this.
Yeah, not really.
So.
I mean, not until like, I mean, I could say something with like the N64 and definitely the PS1, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Final Fantasy. All the Final Fantasy games on the PS1.
Right. Yeah.
Besides that, though, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, and this would have been before the N64 and anything on the PS1, especially Final Fantasy VII, because Final Fantasy VII came out in 97, I want to say.
97.
Yeah, the sevens go together. That's how I remember that.
It's easy that way.
Yeah. And then they messed it up because they didn't release Final Fantasy VIII in 1998. They could have made this real easy on me, but they didn't. Anyway, so that is that. Now, interesting little tidbit. You can put Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in there and play Sonic 2 with Knuckles. It actually kind of makes the game more difficult because both Sonic and Tails jump quite a bit higher than Knuckles does. So some of these jumps that you need to be able to make, you either have to like climb the wall and glide to make them, or find some other way to get up there. There's no, unlike in Sonic 3, there's no like path that's inaccessible to anyone but Knuckles, because clearly Knuckles they weren't thinking about him because he didn't exist when they made the game. Any other Genesis cart, you can put it in there and play I think we advertise it as a randomly generated bonus game, but it's not randomly generated because, I mean, if you put Sonic 1 in there, it's the same bonus game every single time. And if you put Aladdin in it, you get the same bonus game. And when I say the bonus game, I mean Sonic 3 and Knuckles' version of the Chaos Emerald game. It's that. So yeah, that is the history of how this game turned into what it eventually became. And that is why I cheated and I'm doing both these games as one episode, because I don't feel like you can talk about Sonic 3 without discussing this, because it's just such a big part of what it is. Oh, and then so you were saying when you put the two games together, so now Sonic and Knuckles has a save system because it's just using Sonic 3's. When you beat the game, you can go back to any of the levels from either game. And so when you collect the first 7 Chaos Emeralds with Sonic, you can turn into Super Sonic. But when you collect the first 7 Chaos Emeralds with Tails or Knuckles, nothing happens. There is no Super Tails or Super Knuckles. When you collect all 14, so there's the 7 Chaos Emeralds from Sonic 3 and the 7 Chaos Emeralds from Sonic and Knuckles, you get Hypersonic, which is really just Super Sonic, but if you double jump,
invulnerability.
Yeah, when you double jump, you can so like you jump and then you hit a direction on the D-pad and then hit the jump button again. He'll shoot forward into that direction. He's also got like these sparks coming off of him, and I want to say the sparks kill enemies in addition to just his normal body. And then Hyper Knuckles, and they are called Hyper Knuckles and Hyper Tails, even though they're essentially Super Knuckles, because they don't have the shoot forward thing or anything like that. It also it makes the final boss in Sonic and Knuckles a little bit easier if you have Hypersonic, because you can use that dart forward thing to catch up to Robotnik quicker than if you just had Supersonic, because you can't do that. We'll talk about the final boss in a little bit, because actually all 3 characters, the ending is a little bit different depending on who you're playing as. But we'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about the music and all that, those sweet bass lines that Michael Jackson clearly was dropping. As you all are probably aware of, from even if whether it's just because you know it or you've heard us talk about it, the sound chip in the Sega Genesis and the sound chip in the Super Nintendo were known for 2 very different types of musical compositions. For the Super Nintendo, you got a lot of like the orchestras that you got with the strings from The Legend of Zelda, from Final Fantasy and Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger, stuff, and other things that Nintendo would be famous for. Some of
the higher range, like
more trebly sounding things. I guess you could say. The Genesis sound chip created like funky bass stuff, and which our bass man can appreciate for sure.
Yeah.
And Sonic 3's soundtrack and the Sonic and Knuckles soundtrack, even though supposedly Michael Jackson had nothing to do with Sonic Knuckles soundtrack. The Sonic 3 soundtrack is very, very funky.
Yeah.
It's just, there's one of my favorite songs from that game is the what's it called? The launch bass. And it's just this doom 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 doom. It's just this nice little bass thing going on there. Yeah, it's just it's really nice, really nice. I like it. It's got some good drum beats in it too. And then that's pretty much the whole game. It's real funky and I like it. It's not as funky as say like Toe Jam and Earl.
I was gonna say Toe Jam and Earl was like my favorite.
Have we done that on the show yet? We haven't, have we?
No, we haven't.
It's so good. Toe Jam and Earl is so good.
I've been thinking about it. I'm like, ooh, it's gonna happen soon.
Yeah, it's got to happen soon. Yeah. So, and supposedly Michael Jackson had something to do with this. I want to know. There is an episode of The Simpsons that Michael Jackson's supposedly on. And just like this game, he's not credited with the appearance.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see. Michael Jackson Simpsons episode. Yeah, he plays like this So it originally aired in 1991, so that's a little bit before this. Yeah, he plays this guy who he seems like he's just a normal dude, but he's really, really good piano player.
Okay.
And he's constantly making hee noises and things like that. Which is why, you know, most people are like, oh, it's Michael Jackson, but his name doesn't appear in the credits anywhere. And again, like with this game, no one will say, yeah, that was him, or no, it wasn't him. So they like,
it's kind of like,
yeah. And you would think if it wasn't him, people would just be like, oh, no, that's not him. Like, no. I mean, unless of course they're trolling us and they know it. That I guess that could be. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't recall him being like a real private guy.
I don't think so.
But I wouldn't know. I didn't really follow him very much. I mean, I liked his music, but
I like some of his music.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like all of it, but I like some of his music. I just didn't pay a whole lot of attention to him all the time.
A little before my time. And,
you know, yeah, because you're a youngin'.
Most of the stuff before my, well, I mean, I listened to a lot of stuff before my time, but it didn't appeal to me as much.
Right. All right. And the sound design, I mean, it's with each Sonic game, it kind of like with the Mario games, you get your pretty typical sound effects. They just, with each game that comes out, the quality of the sound effect is a little bit better. So the sounds might sound slightly different, but like when Sonic collects a ring, you know what that noise is. So it's when he jumps on a badnik or whatever they call him, it makes all the same sound. Oh, something this game introduced. So in Sonic, this might have been in Sonic 1, but I know it was in Sonic 2. The only real power-ups were the boot, which made you run fast, the shield, which just allowed you to get hit without losing any rings or your life if you didn't have any rings, and the invincibility thing. Sonic 3 added the lightning shield, the bubble shield, and the fire shield. So the lightning shield gave and so they each had like an elemental property, but then there was also a secondary feature to each of them. Tails could not use that secondary feature, and neither can Knuckles, because Sonic, yeah, so even though the Genesis has 3 buttons on it, there's only one action. And what's that?
Why would you use all of them? You know, why would you use every single thing?
Because the only function is jump, and and then if you duck, you do your spin attack. But to activate Tails' flying ability, you jump twice. To activate Knuckles' gliding ability, you jump twice. To activate the power-up feature for Sonic, you jump twice. So to make it so that Tails doesn't lose his flying ability and Knuckles doesn't lose his gliding ability, they just don't have access to the secondary feature of these shields. So the lightning shield attracts magnetically any rings that are in the area. The bubble shield allows you to breathe underwater, which is great because then you don't have to hear that like the worst sound in the world.
It's the worst. Actually.
Yeah, it's right up there with having like 2 hearts in Zelda and it just going dee 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 constantly. It's that.
It's good.
Except in Sonic, when you start hearing that noise, you have a countdown timer. Zelda, as long as you don't get hit, you're okay.
And then like when you hear that countdown and you see the timer, you start to freak out. It's like, oh no, I need to hurry. You're like, because it sounds like Jaws to me.
It does.
That was always the thing. It sounds like Jaws, and you're in water, so I'm just like, something's gonna pop out and grab me. Like,
right,
it's gonna happen. So I'm like,
exactly like that. It was horrible. Hated it. And you know what? That sound is still in Sonic games today.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Okay, so the secondary ability for Sonic, the lightning shield allowed you to essentially double jump. The fire shield allowed you to shoot forward. Oh, I forgot to say what the fire shield does. And it's really only useful in like the lava reef zone, because there's lava everywhere, and you can walk on the lava.
Yeah.
I guess you can also, you're invulnerable to fire, but there's not a lot of fire in the game. All right, so yeah, the lightning shield lets you double jump. The bubble shield is like the opposite of a double jump. You shoot down, but when you hit the ground, you bounce. It's strange and hard to explain. And outside of it making you able to breathe underwater, the bubble shield is dumb. No one likes it.
You like happen to be over the abyss, you just
yeah,
like, to your death.
Which I've done.
We've all done it.
And the fire shield, you dart forward in the air. I feel like Kirby has an ability that's kind of like the fire shield in one of the Kirby games.
Fire shield?
Yeah, well, like it's not a shield, but like you can dart forward surrounded in flames if you have this ability. Maybe like
some of them. I know that's in Smash. That's like your dash A.
Right. Yeah.
I believe that there's like if you get, depending on which game it is, like the fire one, if you're not breathing fire, you like turn into a fireball and just like
right.
Yeah. So yeah, depending on which one you have, that is something.
Yeah. So that's that, and then of course the boot and the invincibility. I always want to call it star power, and it's not that. It's just invincibility. There are stars all around him, but yeah, and because of the elemental shields, the regular shield that was in Sonic 2 is just not in this game because it didn't do anything other than shield you from getting hit one time. All right, so that's that. Possible outside influences to this game: Sonic 1 and 2. There, covered that.
Pretty much.
And then future influences every Sonic game after this. Oh, and what's that one? Freedom Planet?
Freedom Planet? I'm not sure what that is.
Played that? Yeah, I feel like when it came out, I feel like I remember people describing it as the Sonic game that Sega won't make for you. And that people really, really liked it. So, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't have it as a humble bundle and just never played it. Because that's what I do. I spend money on games that I never play. All right. So, Nolan, I'm going to put you on the spot here. In relation to when you were born, when did this game come out?
After.
After, okay.
Yeah. I was, let's see. I was not quite 3 when Sonic 3 came out. It was like a week beforehand.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So the odds that you grew up with this, maybe not great.
Oh, I didn't have a Genesis.
Yeah,
I have never had a Genesis. But my neighbor had a Genesis, so we played some of them. I didn't play much of 3. I haven't played Knuckles.
Okay.
But yeah, so I haven't really played much of this one. Like I said, most of it is like the first game is what I've played, and more so of 2. But yeah, 3 I have not really played much.
Yeah, I feel like if most people's memories of the Genesis Sonic games are like Sonic 1 or Sonic 2. Most people would tell you that Sonic 2 is the better game, and I don't argue with them. I personally think 3 and Knuckles are better, but I'm not like, no, you're wrong. Now, if you think Sonic 1 is the best game, you just go away with that nonsense. That's just ridiculous.
1, I'll say 1 is my favorite, but that's because I played the most.
Yeah.
Out of these 4. So, but yeah, that's what I've heard, is that like 2 is better than 1, but a lot of people like 3 the most too. So.
Yeah. Now, like Sonic, if I was going to separate the games, it's Sonic 3 is the better of the 2.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with Sonic and Knuckles. It's an equally good game, but I think just because you can save with Sonic 3 and you can't save with Sonic and Knuckles is a real big. Yeah, it makes a real big difference. All right, so I did grow up with this kind of, even though I didn't own a Genesis as a kid. I had friends who had Genesis, and they had Sonic 3, and they had all the Sonic games. I'd go over there and play. The thing I remember the most,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually am pretty sure that this is something that a lot of people my age dealt with when this game came out. So in Sonic 3, for the longest time, as a kid, I only beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles as Knuckles. Never beat it as Sonic, never beat it as Tails. It wasn't until I became an adult that I beat these games as Sonic and Tails.
Because
The
Knuckles
reason...
seemed cooler.
What's that?
Because Knuckles, well, I mean, to me, Knuckles always seemed cooler. Like, I like playing as Knuckles in those games.
Yeah, but that wasn't the reason.
No. Yeah.
The reason was in World 4, I want to say, of Sonic 3. Maybe it's 5. Yeah, I think it's 5. Is the like the carnival themed place. And if you're Knuckles, you bypass this area that I'm about to talk about completely because it's just not on his path.
Yeah.
But if you're Sonic and Tails, you can't go Knuckles' path because you have to be able to break something. And you get to this area where when you get in there, this thing comes down and you're now stuck in this room. There's only one way out, and that's to go down. But there's this tube that's floating, and you see these tubes all over the level. They're everywhere, and you can stand on them. And when you stand on them, Sonic goes into like this quasi 3D state where he's, I mean, the game's 2D, but it's like simulating him spinning on the cylinder because the thing is spinning. Okay, and you have to be able to get the cylinder to get low enough for Sonic or Tails, whichever you're playing as, underneath this platform. And so you get on it and you jump on it, and when you jump it kind of moves up and down because it's got like this springy physics mechanic or something to it. And so you're jumping and you can't get it to go down far enough, and you can't get it to go down far enough, and nothing that you try will get it to go down far enough. What you don't know, because the game doesn't dadgum tell you, when you're standing on one of these things, and it's not just this one, any of them, when you're standing on any of them, just on the D-pad, hit up and then down, and up and then down, and you'll slowly start to move this thing that you're on up and down, up and down, up and down, until eventually, and it's going harder, and eventually you get it low enough and you can get underneath the platform. The game doesn't tell you this. There's no hint whatsoever. And of course, back then we don't have the internet, so we can't just get, how do you do this? You know, it's not there.
So Genesis, you can't go Nintendo Power with it either.
Right, because you can't do that. So unless you knew someone who had done this, and how were they going to know how to do it unless they did it by accident?
Exactly.
No one could get through it. And so it wasn't until I was an adult and the internet is a thing, and I wonder, I never did this when I was a kid. I'm going to go find out. You got to be kidding me. That's how you do it? This is a stupid thing. I hated it. I mean, it didn't keep me from going out and playing it. Collect game. But drove me crazy. And so that's the impact that it had on my life.
Was that particular level?
It almost turned me to beer and drugs. No, just kidding. That didn't happen.
At how old?
At, I don't know, how old was that? 94. I'd have been 10 when this came out. So yeah.
Yeah, a little young.
Yeah, a little bit. So that's what I remember about it as a kid. Again, I didn't own it until, I think the first time I owned the game was when it was on the GameCube, Sonic Mega Collection. That was probably the first time I owned it.
Okay.
So, but I even so, I played the game enough as Knuckles that I knew the game well enough. And then, of course, just because you can't get past Sonic 3 doesn't mean you can't pop Sonic 3 out of Sonic and Knuckles and just play that. So that's pretty much how it is. So it was just for the longest time I didn't know how Sonic 3 ended without Knuckles is really what was happening here. So the story, I explained that, how Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles kind of all run into each other. If you're so when you have Sonic and Knuckles plugged in, the final boss of Sonic 3, you don't fight him at all. I don't think. No, you fight like a version of him, but it's somehow different. And then when you, of course, if you got the two plugged in, you beat the boss, quote unquote, of Sonic 3, and Sonic and Knuckles just starts. There's no credits or anything like that. And this is true no matter what character you happen to be. But Sonic, so you get the end of Sonic and Knuckles, and depending on, first of all, which character you're playing, and second of all, whether or not you have any of the Chaos Emeralds, kind of determines how the game ends. So Sonic and Tails have the same path. They have all the same bosses. Everything's pretty much the same. But if you've got Super or Hypersonic, you don't get this with Hypertail. Super or Hypersonic, there's an additional boss where you're tearing through space. Like the Death Egg is blowing up and crashing back down to Mobius or whatever the planet is that these games take place on. It's for like the 1900th time this is happening. So the Death and Robotnik has gotten in like this escape pod, and he's like, I've got the Mega Emerald, I'm just getting out of here. And if you've got Supersonic, you go tearing off through space after him, and he's shooting missiles at him, and the only way to hit him, because Supersonic is invincible, kind of like Starman Mario in the Mario games. The only way to hit him, his first form, is to get these heat-seeking missiles to hit his ship. So you've got to like line Sonic up and the missile with Robotnik ship in between the two, and they hit each other. And then the final stage of the boss is you just, as Supersonic, just run into him until he eventually dies. Now, of course, if you remember from our talk of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Supersonic has a timer, which is the number of rings that he has. So when you run out of rings, you just become not Supersonic. So if you run out of rings in this level, you die because you're in space.
Oxygen,
yeah, you need oxygen, which apparently you don't need if you're Supersonic. So Tails, right? Tails just doesn't get this boss because there's, if you've got Hyper Tails, you're falling out of the Death Egg and the Mega Emerald's with you, and as long as you have Hyper Tails, the Mega Emerald continues with you until you get to the airplane, where for some reason Sonic catches you on the airplane even though you're Tails and you can fly. I don't know why that's necessary, but it happens. Exactly, reasons. Because somebody who gets paid way more than me decided this. Same thing with Sonic. If you don't have Supersonic or Hypersonic, you'll fall out of the Death Egg after you defeat the first part of the boss, and you just won't have the Mega Emerald with you. So Knuckles' main protagonist is actually not Robotnik. It's a robotic form of Robotnik, and then Metal Sonic.
I was gonna say, I thought it was Metal Sonic.
Yeah. Okay. Not to be confused with Pseudo-Sonic, which is the robot Sonic in Sonic 2, or Mecha Sonic. No, wait. Hang on. Is Metal Sonic the one from Sonic CD, or is that Mecha Sonic?
I think that's Metal Sonic.
That's Metal. Okay, so Mecha Sonic.
Destroy you and everything that you thought you would. Everything that you ever loved.
Right. So Mecha Sonic is the roboticized version of Sonic in Sonic and Knuckles. Yeah. Knuckles fights Mecha Sonic at the end of the game, and just like with Tails, the only real difference is if you've got Hyper Knuckles, you keep the Mega Emerald when you are falling from the sky, and if you don't, then if you don't, then you don't get to keep it. The other difference, I guess, is at the end of the Lava Reef zone, if you're Sonic or Tails, you go on to the Sky Sanctuary, which then goes on to the Death Egg. If you're Knuckles, at the end of the Lava Reef zone, the Sky Sanctuary is replaced by the final boss with Mecha Sonic, and then the game ends. So there is no Death Egg in this version of the game. And there you go. That is...
Was it 3 that, like, the end, like, if you don't have it plugged in Knuckles, that it's essentially a boss rush when you have no rings?
They're kind of...
Then you fight...
Yeah, yeah. You do fight like
You know what I'm
3
talking about?
bosses all right in a row.
Or something like
Yeah, I
like
know
to
what
give
you're
like
talking.
the
Yeah,
names.
because that thing is what you're fighting. I think that's the thing that you're fighting at the end of Sonic and Knuckles if you have the two of them attached. So they just move that boss from
Okay,
there to there's something
that's what
like
I'm trying
that.
to
It's
remember. I'm like, because I thought I remember hearing something. I thought that was 3, but if they moved
yeah,
it,
right. So it's all very confusing. But hopefully I've cleared it up a little bit for you today.
a little bit.
Hopefully. I don't know. Who knows? These games are a mess.
Yeah.
So I think I've about exhausted all that I have to say about this.
Okay.
So, do you, even though you didn't have it, do you have anything to add?
Uh, not really. I mean, as stated, it's kind of like I didn't really play this much, so I don't.
Yeah,
That was the only thing was that like I remember that this was like a bot that had a boss rush at the end.
right.
And that it was. I made it a lot harder than it needed to be.
Yeah. And unlike,
That,
yeah. And you know how when a new Mario game comes out, it's generally pretty darn different from all the previous Mario games.
yeah.
That really can't be said about Sonic the Hedgehog. The
No.
level design's different. They add a few new things here and there, but if you played one 2D Sonic, you've
Yeah.
pretty much played them all. The 3D Sonics are all a hot mess. Except for like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 were
Yeah.
pretty good as long as you're playing as Sonic.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
I
that was
guess
the Sonic levels. The Sonic and Shadow levels were great.
yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll stick with great.
Yeah. But they were pretty good.
They were pretty good. You know, especially like regardless of what you think, we didn't have Sonic Adventure 2, we wouldn't have Escape from the City.
Yes.
And that's just a masterpiece. So,
Clearly.
like,
Clearly.
regardless of anything else, I've played that level so many times just to listen to that.
Yep.
So, but for the others, yeah, it's a hot mess.
Right. And then and also without Sonic Adventure, we wouldn't have Sonic 06. It just wouldn't exist. So,
which is not a hot mess.
no, not at all. It's great. So praise the sun for that.
Hey.
That reminds me, I need to go friend you on Steam. So,
I was like, we could do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't bring
So is that happening? Definitely.
Just don't make sure it's not this Saturday because I have to be at the. I'm volunteering.
Okay. Well, then I won't.
That thing.
I won't. I was gonna say, are we gonna announce here what the next Patty Plays Pathetically is? But we won't do that. So
not that. I mean, that,
no.
I feel like the cat's.
Yeah. All right.
Well, whatever. Yeah.
We'll figure that out later. So.
Just not this Saturday. Is the only thing.
Yeah. All right.
No.
All right. Well, that's Sonic 3. This game's probably too old for a Metacritic score, and there's only 2 of us here, so it's not much of a game.
Yeah, it's not much.
We'll just skip that.
But you know what is a game? 20 questions.
20 questions is a game, and it's a game we like to play here. It's a fun game. I like it. Sometimes it's my favorite part of the show.
And sometimes it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so other times it's like, this is horrible.
You dirty cheater.
Right. You cheated. You wanted me to fail on purpose. All right, so 20 questions. If you're new to the show, we always play 20 questions at the end of every episode to figure out what it is that we're going to be playing for the next episode. So last week, it was Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I knew what the answer was. My cohorts did not know what the answer was. They had to figure out what it is. This week, Nolan's picking, so I don't know what game it is that we're going to be playing. He does. I have 20 questions to figure it out, and we are going to start now. Oh, and I'm alone, so I don't get any help.
You are.
All right.
You don't, specifically, Joel's not here to, like, Google everything.
To Google things. So
it's,
all right, I'm going to start with an interesting question.
All right.
Does your character have hands that you can see on the screen?
Hands that you can see on the... Well, I got a screenshot right here. Let's see if I can see it. Yeah.
All right. There we go. Ridiculous question. All right, now, on to serious things. And also for those of you who are unaware, the only real rule for this is that for it to be a retro game, it has to be 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I already know that it's
otherwise
older.
we would have played Dark Souls or Demon Souls by now.
Yeah, or something like that.
Because,
right. So,
but unfortunately, it's like they had 2 years to get over.
Yeah. So I also know that this game came out on or before May 15th, 2007.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and narrow it down a little bit more than that. Did it come out before January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
All right. So that's 2. Did it come out after January 1st, 1990? Nope. He's having to think about it. Or he's fooling me. He could be trolling me.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Depending on the region.
I was just about to say that must mean that it came out like in an 89 in Japan, and then probably also tells me that it's an NES game. But we're gonna ask anyway. My 4th question: is this game on the NES?
It is in fact on the NES.
It is in fact on the NES. All right. Was this game published by Nintendo?
No.
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 All right. Well, then it's probably safe to assume it wasn't developed by Nintendo. That's not my question.
I know.
Who? Oh my god. Well, no, you said it wasn't published by Nintendo. But is it a licensed game?
No.
No. All right. Is this a? Well, yeah. Is it a platformer?
Yes.
Okay. It is a platformer on the NES around the turn of the decade.
Mm-hmm.
Is the publisher... Well, no. Is the developer still making games today?
I'm going to say yes. I'll double check just to make sure. But
okay.
I'm going to say yes.
That's helpful, though. Because it means it's not Capcom. And it's not Square. Or something like that. Because he would know that.
It's still on. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're still making games today. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I am almost completely positive, and unless they went under within the last week and I didn't hear about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
I mean, considering how things have been going, it could be Konami.
Hey.
But let's see here. Oh gosh. So it's a developer that is still making games today, but you weren't positive.
Well, so I wanted to make sure there was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
they're definitely still making games.
Okay, and it's a platformer.
Yes.
Is the primary method of combat with projectiles?
No.
No. All right.
That crossed my mind though, because I'm pretty sure I know what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so is the primary method of combat jumping on enemies?
Yes.
Okay, that's most platformers of that day, but figured it was worth asking. That was question 10, by the way.
That was 10.
I have essentially 9 more questions because question 20 needs to be the game.
Yeah.
So for my 11th question, is there any sort of multiplayer in this game?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that eliminates Well,
no.
Yeah. So no alternating multiplayer, no simultaneous co-op.
Nope.
Was this game developed by Capcom?
Yes.
Aha! I see.
Didn't you ask that already?
No, I did not. I started to, but I didn't.
Oh, okay.
So the game is developed by Capcom. It's not Mega Man. Know that.
That would have been.
Gosh, what else? It's not a licensed game, so it's not DuckTales or anything like that. Oh, you said it was a platform. Well, no, Castlevania's Konami. Shoot. What else is I know Capcom did Mega Man and Disney games back then. That's what I'm aware of that they were doing back in the day. They hadn't started making Zelda games yet. Those are the 2 Game Boy games, and they're not platformers. Shoot. Is the series okay? Actually, first of all, is this part of a series?
Technically, yeah.
Okay. Is that series still around? They're still making like they've made a game for it in the last 2 or 3 years.
No.
No. All right. Jeez, I'm on question 14, or that was question 14. I'm on 15. Oh my gosh. Come on, Patty. Old NES games.
I feel like I may have goofed on something, but let's just continue. We'll see.
What now?
You're asking me something. I'm like, that you took a certain way. I'm like, that's not what I meant. So.
Well, no, that's my fault. As long as you answered the question truthfully, that you know how I take it.
My knowledge, I answered the question truthfully.
Yeah. Okay. That's
the only thing. I'm like, I think. I don't know. We'll see. If by the end, when I tell you, if you don't guess it, and I tell you what it is, and you're upset, then I apologize. I'm not trying to be sneaky. It's just, yeah.
Okay. Well, now I want to know.
I know. I'm sorry.
Like, what question do you think I took the wrong way? Now I want to know, but don't tell me. No.
Don't worry about that.
Just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Well, the only question I can think of that I would would either be the platformer question, the projectile question, or the licensed game question. But you jump on them or something. Are there are like power-ups in this game? That sounds like a dumb question, but
I don't think there are. Let me double check.
Okay. That might be helpful, actually.
Yeah, let's see. I don't remember there being any, and I don't know of any.
Okay, who developed? You.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
On that one. Unless there's some hidden thing that I don't know about, you do not.
Oh, but you said it was on NES, so that's not right.
No.
Shoot! Or maybe, what was the NES version of that game, though? God. This is dumb. That was question 15. I gotta keep from. I hate when there's dead air during this, and I gotta keep. Oh.
I'll give you like an extra question because.
Okay. Well, hang on. Is it? Gosh, are there ghosts in this game?
Are there ghosts?
Yeah. If you have to think about it, the correct answer is probably no.
There might be.
It probably means it's not what I was thinking it was. So
there might be. I don't. That's nothing. Like I don't remember there being.
Okay.
Any.
Gosh, that was question 16, I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh my word. To your knowledge, is this game well regarded?
Yes.
People like it. Okay.
Very much so.
I don't know. That helps me at all.
It's on a lot of lists of best
platformer, 2D
top
platformer.
games on the NES.
Yeah, okay. That was
Also for
question
its music.
17. Great music. Okay.
For one
Is
stage.
this? Oh my gosh! Did the you jump on people? It's not a licensed game. You don't shoot things or throw things or anything that would be considered a projectile. It's a platform. It's developed by Capcom. It's on the NES. It was on the NES in one decade in one region, and in another decade in another region. And the only platformers that I can come up with that Capcom was making back then are licensed games and Mega Man. I cannot think of anything else.
Licensed. How about this might be licensed then?
It might be licensed.
I didn't think it was, but now I'm reading. I'm like, it probably is. So.
Like licensed, as in they took the characters from someone that's not Capcom.
Yeah. Okay, so then yes, I'm sorry.
Are there ducks in this game?
Yes.
Is it DuckTales?
Yes.
Oh my god!
Sorry. I like licensed it. I like thought of like movies or like, you know, specifically made for a movie, not like, hey, it's also this. I don't think of it like that. I'm sorry.
And when you said, well, you might have taken one of the questions wrong, I immediately went to, if this is DuckTales.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach my hand through my camera, and I'm going to choke you.
I may have goofed on that one. Yeah, like, yeah.
And you know what? I was kind of considering making this my next game, so now I don't have to. No.
Okay.
This game is really, really good. It's DuckTales. You know what? Because I like the game so much, and you're blessing me with the ability to go back and have an excuse to play it, I won't hate you for longer than the 15 seconds that I already did.
Okay. Fair enough.
So you've been forgiven. Yeah, so DuckTales on the NES.
Also,
fantastic game.
Yeah. It was also on the Game Boy.
Yeah. The same version?
Yeah.
I mean, that was happening a lot, so I guess that doesn't
really
surprise
hoping
me.
you're going to say, is this a multi-platform?
Yeah.
So I would have been like, yep.
You know, I almost asked you, does this game have a Game Boy port? Now, it wouldn't have helped me.
Not at all, because I don't
because I didn't know. Yeah.
But
yeah, so it's on the NES. It's been remastered for Xbox 360, PS3. I want to say it's part of Xbox One backwards compatibility. Yes, it was on Wii U.
Also, the original will be on something called the Disney Afternoon Collection.
Yes, I think that's already
PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Yeah, and I think that's actually already out.
Is it?
Maybe it is.
Oh, it did? It came out like about a month ago.
Right. And similar to Rare Replay, for the amount of game that you're getting for, you know, the little bit, I want to say it's only like $30.
Probably.
It's pretty good. Sadly, it's not on the Switch, which I feel like is just a darn shame. I'd have bought it already if it was on the Switch.
Probably.
Absolutely. I would have, but the Switch has ruined me. If I can't take a game with me, then I'm kind of like, why? It's just if I can't poop and play this at the same time, I'm really less interested in it.
You say that you can't though.
Well, I mean, if I carted my TV into the bathroom, I could, but that's a lot of work. I guess if I had like a laptop and could stream it to my laptop, maybe I could.
It is on PC. It is on Microsoft Windows. I mean,
it's true. It is on PC. It's on Steam. So, yeah, it's a great little game. From what I've been told, because I haven't played the remaster, even though all the reviews that I read were like, this is a pretty darn good recreation of the original. I think like a lot of the stuff they added, most people think that it means that the original version that was on NES is better. So. So I would recommend that if you're going to play either get your hands on a copy of the NES cart or play it on Disney. What was it called? Disney Afternoon something or other?
Disney Afternoon Collection.
Yeah. And actually that game's got Chippendale and Darkwing Duck. Chippendale was great. Darkwing Duck is pretty good. I heard the Tailspin game that's on it is kind of hot garbage. But yeah, so all right, that is that.
Yeah.
play that game. And we're going to do plugs. And then I will tell all of you audio listeners, that audio version of this podcast that hasn't existed in weeks. I'll tell you what kind of music y'all be listening to.
Yeah.
So, Nolan, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Baseman214 or Baseman21491 or Icy White Falcon, wherever there are internet things and video games, like on Xbox, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Steam, other things. Probably I have my face. You see this.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually something
along those Is it that smiling thing that you have?
It is not, and I keep meaning to change that.
It really should be. It's good branding right there. Do that. Yep. All right, Joel.
Yeah.
You can find him napping right now. This is mean.
Hopefully you don't find him napping.
Yeah. If you find him and he's napping, get out of his house. You're trespassing. Though he lives in California, so the likelihood that you'll get shot is probably not great.
Especially where he's at.
Yeah. So anyway, you can find Joel Watt, our cohort who didn't make it tonight, at Obi-Wan Kenobi on anything and everything. Just look for him there. Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Patrick Proper, and mostly here on this show and crossforgegaming.com, which will take you to the Facebook page. I have a show now that I do every week called Patty Plays Pathetically. The first episode is already up. It was of me playing Heroes of the Storm. I hear that it was mildly entertaining to a couple of people who watched it, including myself. I certainly got a kick out of it. I don't know what that says about me, but anyway. And the second episode will be up this Thursday. I played World of Warships. It was a fun game. I really enjoyed it, and I'll probably try and find some time to play that and other things like it more often. And so make sure you check out the links in the description below. I'm going to link Patreon. I'm going to link the t-shirt store. I'm going to link to their Facebook page and Facebook community. And what was that?
Link to the past.
Yes, a link to the past. I'm going to link to the very first episode of the show because that's what we did. Anything else that I want to link, it'll be down there. And please, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It'll help us out tremendously because we want to get to that 100 subscriber milestone so we can change our YouTube URL to be youtube.com/CrossForgeGaming, something that's easy to remember and not this gibberish that we have right now. All right, audio listeners, eventually you're going to hear I had a hard time picking tracks for this, but I am going to go. We talked about the Launchpad Zone, and even though I don't think that's the best song in the game, I definitely that I think goes to the Ice Cap Zone. That's the best music in it. But that fat bass line from Launch Base, I can't ignore it. So you're going to hear, you heard Launch Base Zone at the beginning of the game. And leaving at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of the episode, leaving, you're going to hear Sky Sanctuary, which was is in Sonic and Knuckles. So what I did was I picked a game for Sonic 3. I picked a song for Sonic 3, picked a game for Sonic and Knuckles. I said game again. I don't know why I can't talk, so I'm going to end this quickly. Just kill it, take it out back, bam. Thank you for watching this episode of Original Gamers Podcast. Be playing DuckTales for next week. Come back and check out Patty Plays Pathetically on Thursday. And we will see you around on Facebook. Have a good one.
Be good humans.
Oh, you stole it.